Chapter 16. The Breakthrough Beam. The morning they laid the final beam, the town held its breath. There wasn't a ceremony, no ribbon or official declaration, just a group of muddy volunteers, a borrowed crane, and the collective rhythm of hammers and heartbeats. Jake stood with Marcus and Evan on the unfinished edge of the bridge itself, steadying their balance as they waited for the beam. From this side, the bridge ended in a sheer drop to the river, leaving them standing where the final beam would lock the halves together. Walt directed from the riverbank below, hands waving like a conductor. Elena and Noah monitored the tension in the cables from the scaffolding nearby, while Grace kept the kids and onlookers off to the side, passing out thermoses of hot cider and homemade biscuits from Jenny's oversized cooler. The beam itself had arrived 2 days earlier, donated anonymously, but everyone had their suspicions. It was pristine, pre-treated, stronger than anything they'd used before. Jake ran his hand along the wood before it lifted into the air. "Feels heavier than it looks," Evan said. "That's because it's carrying more than weight," Jake murmured. Evan nodded. "Yeah, like Walt's expectations." The hoist began. The beam rose slowly, creaking against the wind. Every eye, on the bridge and on the shore, was fixed on it. This was the piece that would lock the two halves together. The moment where years of silence, brokenness, and generational grief would meet in the middle. The crane steadied. Jake stepped into place with Marcus and Evan, each of them on a side, guiding the beam into its slot, inch by inch, breath by breath. The last time he stood this still beside Marcus, they were shoulder to shoulder at a graveside, lowering a casket. Now they were lifting something instead. That had to mean something. Then, thunk. It dropped into place with the sound of completion. No cheers erupted. Just a deep collective exhale. Jake didn't cry, but he came close. Later that afternoon, as the tools were packed up and people trickled home, Jake lingered. He sat on the beam, and pulled the journal from his bag. Beneath him, the river rushed as it always had, but now there was solid ground under his boots where there had only been open air before. It was damp around the edges now, worn and familiar. He flipped to another coded entry his father had written. Journal entry. The final beam must carry more than the rest. It carries the crossing. John 19:30. Is finished. T.W. Jake let the word settle into him. Finished didn't mean the work was over. It meant the way had been made. The hardest part, the impossible gap, was now bridged. Grace approached and sat beside him without speaking. Together they looked out across the river, watching the wind ripple through the trees on the far bank. "Do you think he'd be proud?" Jake finally asked. She didn't answer immediately, then answered thoughtfully. "I think he'd be grateful, that you didn't just build what he started, but that you found your own faith inside it." Jake closed the journal. "I didn't just find it," he said. "I chose it." Grace smiled. "Then that's the real beam."